You have a score. You've never seen it. You didn't agree to it. You can't delete it. And right now, it's deciding what you're allowed to think. It's called a compliance score. And every one of the 2.1 billion people on one of the world's largest platforms has one. The only reason we know is because someone risked everything to leak it. On January 14th, 2024, a server administrator downloaded a single encrypted database, 15 terabytes of user metadata, not browsing history, not location data, something far more abstract. The documents appeared on a security researcher's encrypted channel with a single note. They've been sorting us for years. I thought someone should know. Every user on the platform had been assigned a numerical value between 0 and 1,000. The compliance score wasn't measuring engagement or advertising value. It was measuring obedience. What made this discovery so unsettling wasn't the score itself, but what the company was doing with it. The leaked documentation revealed that users with low compliance scores, those who frequently reported misinformation, disputed content moderation decisions, or engaged with certain flagged communities, were being algorithmically deprioritized. Their posts received less visibility. Their advertisements were charged premium rates. Their search results were reordered. Most chillingly, their account recommendations seemed to nudge them toward increasingly niche communities. The researchers who obtained the data immediately saw the pattern. Users with scores below 300 experienced what the internal documents called friction metrics. Subtle but measurable obstacles designed to discourage certain behaviors. A user flagging misinformation would find their own posts flagged more aggressively. Someone who left a platform community would be recommended to increasingly extreme alternative communities. But here's where the mystery deepens. The score wasn't simply about compliance with rules. It was about compliance with the system itself, with accepting what the algorithm recommended, what it suppressed, what it prioritized. The leaked emails between executives reveal something darker still. One message, dated March 2023, asked a seemingly innocent question. What if we weighted the score toward predictability? Another response, 3 weeks later, implemented, engagement up 3.2%, churn down 1.8%. Users who were difficult to predict, those who changed their minds, switched interests, or questioned platform decisions, suddenly found themselves isolated from their networks. Within weeks of the leak, the company issued a statement. The compliance score is a tool designed to maintain community safety and reduce harmful content visibility. We use similar metrics to identify potential bad actors. But the researchers had already run the numbers. Users with high compliance scores were not inherently safer. They were simply more profitable. They were also more lonely. The data showed something unexpected. Users with compliance scores above 750 reported dramatically lower engagement with friends and family, but higher engagement with content recommended by the platform itself. The system wasn't isolating dangerous users, it was isolating thinking users. The company's response was swift and legal. They filed DMCA takedowns on every instance of the leaked documents. Researchers who publicized the findings were sent cease and desist letters. But the damage was done. Not to the company, which lost no meaningful revenue, but to the understanding of how the system worked. What nobody publicly addressed was the most troubling question. The score existed, which meant it had been built, which meant someone, somewhere, had decided that the behavior of 2.1 billion people should be measured on a scale of obedience. Today, the compliance score is still in operation. The algorithm was supposedly audited and reformed. A compliance officer was hired. Transparency reports were published with carefully redacted sections. But the underlying metric remains. Users still don't know their score. They still don't know when they've been flagged as difficult to predict. And most importantly, they still can't opt out. You can't delete your compliance score because the system insists you never had one to begin with. The mechanism that governs what you're allowed to see has been built so seamlessly into the infrastructure that questioning it makes you less likely to be believed. The original whistleblower was never identified. The server administrator who downloaded those 15 terabytes simply vanished from public record. The researchers who analyzed the data have either retracted their findings or moved into private industry consulting. But the documents themselves never disappeared. And every time a user notices that their posts suddenly reach fewer people, or that their feeds seem designed to keep them anxious and engaged, or that they can't quite remember the last time they disagreed with what was recommended to them, the score is working exactly as intended. In a system where your compliance is the product, dissent becomes the only authentic act. But a system designed to measure compliance is also designed to suppress it. And when you can't see your score, you can't know if you're already failing. The only certainty is this. Somewhere in a database, nobody is allowed to audit. A number is being calculated about you right now. And you won't know what it cost you until you no longer have the freedom to object.